Venus. I'm just kidding. Hi, this is Belwickett again. We have not made a video in, like, together video, because Star is behind the camera. So we have not made a video together in quite some time. So this is our video on, we have 3 different subject topics. 1 is love spells, 2 is elements, and 3 is helping yourself find a coven in wherever you're living. I mean, we did a video before about it, but I'm sure not a lot of people had seen it because of the way we hashtagged it, or not hashtagged, but tagged it. But the first section of the video is going to be on love spells, and we are sort of answering Jazzy S's question. I said S because I want to leave out the last name kind of thing, but Jazzy, this is kind of answering your question about love spells. I believe it was Jazzy with the love spell. Oh, nope. David J. This is for David J, not Jazzy. Jazzy has another one on elements. Okay, so, love spells. Let me just review the notes for just 1 second. I just gotta figure out where I'm starting at. Okay, so love spells. So, the problem with love spells is that people like to, when they do these kind of spells, they want to love a specific person. That's where the thought of love spells comes into mind. It's because they feel like they want to love a specific person. That is why it's widely known that love spells are bad, because that is how they're mostly used, is to get somebody specific to love you if they don't love you. With all that said, yes, that's bad. And I say a lot, don't do love spells. That part of love spells, that way of doing it, is bad. There's another way of doing it. That is, instead of doing a love spell for a specific person, you do a love spell to invite just love. Not from a specific person, just love. Invite love into your life. Now, there are technicalities that go with that right there. Because you cannot be specific when you do a love spell, because it will come back to you. You know, you don't want to ruin. Is the time? What's the time?
What?
The time, what?
2 minutes.
Okay. You don't want to be specific, but at the same time, you do want to be a little bit specific, because if you're looking for romantic love, if you do just a spell that says, I just want new love to come into my life, you know. I've heard a story of somebody did that spell, and without knowing it, you know, they got a puppy, a brand new puppy, and they fell in love with this puppy, and then they realized after a while, oh my God, the love spell did work, but it didn't work in quite the way I wanted it to. But they were happy about it, you know. So if you want to be a little bit specific, you can by making it a spell about romantic love, person-to-person kind of love. So that's that part of it. When you do a love spell at all, like the one I'm trying to explain, the one where you don't get specific thoughts about a person, it's very hard to not think about a specific person, or even just little qualities about that person that you're subconsciously thinking about. So when you do something like this, there is a sort of meditation thing that you must do, concentration deal, where you take all of the thoughts that you have in your head about this specific person and you move them away. You got to keep all of that out of this spell. You have to have serious concentration for a love spell, because love spells are quite powerful and they backfire quite powerfully. So what we have this little thing, we call it the apple meditation, and literally it's one of the most basic ones. I've heard it in so many books, and we do it. It's where you either get a physical apple or you think of an apple in your mind. You sit there for minutes to hours, you know, however long it takes, and think about just the apple. And once any sort of thought about anything else comes into your thought about the apple, brush it away. And keep doing that until eventually you're not thinking about anything else, just the apple. And that is where you need to be when you're doing spells like this, because you don't want to throw anything in there, because it's going to backfire, and quite terribly sometimes. So, I've got a little spell here going on. This is the spell I have just recently done. And It's very, very, very simple, and it's very, very unspecific besides the fact that is romantic love, not, you know, a dog. You know, you don't want a new dog, or, you know. So what I've got here, don't mind the candles. The candles are just for lighting and for power, you know. I've got the Lover's card from the tarot deck, from my tarot deck, the Fairy tarot deck. You can use any tarot deck. And I've got crystals surrounding it. The crystals are pulling the power into this specific card. Now, this specific card is two people, the lovers. And what it that helps with the specifics thing for romantic love of person to person. That is going to help that. And all you do, literally, all you do is you sit there and you, like I said, erase everything else out of your mind. No more thoughts of anybody else, no specifics. Erase everything out and let the positive energy flow into it. Just feel the positive energy flow into this card. And I did this spell a few weeks ago. Now, like I said, love spells are tricky. I've had a ton of guys come up to me and tell me, you know, they like me, you know, and they come up, like, I've had at least 4 or 5 different guys. Before this, I didn't have any. Now, all these guys want to come to me and tell me they like me. And a few of them had said, I've never felt like this before about anyone. So I was thinking about stopping the spell, but I actually have found somebody that I actually like. And the spell was the little push that I needed, you know, to talk to this person. Because I've seen him around, but the spell helped, you know, it helped him want to talk to me. So this spell really, it works quite efficiently as long as you're concentrating like we wanted it, like you need to. Concentrate like that. Okay, so, another experience that I'm going to throw in there is that when I first ever did a love spell, and I really wanted it to happen, all of you probably know about my ex-boyfriend Jose. I won't say his last name because I said his first name, I wasn't supposed to. But I fell in love with this person, and before I met him, I did a love spell. And it wasn't a specific love spell, but I was specifically saying, you know, I want this person to love me more than anything in the world. I want to love this person more than anything in the world. That was too specific. I fell in love with this person, and he fell in love with me. And as the spell wore off, he realized that he didn't really love me. And it broke my heart. It ruined my life for months. I was so depressed and it was terrible. It was lesson learned, though. Lesson learned. You should not mess with magic like this unless you know what you're doing. You need to be non-specific as possible, or your heart will break. That spell came back to me 3 times as hard. I felt terrible. I mean, I've probably shown a few videos, that you've probably seen a few videos that I've been in that I've talked about how bad I felt. So, make sure that you're doing this correctly, because it will hurt if you don't. So, enough about the serious talk about that. That's that. I've got a little altar set up just for the fun of it, you know. And we've got the fire over here for passion, and, you know, like that, stuff like that. We even cast a circle before we did the video. Okay, so I'm going to take the camera, and Crystal is going, or Star is going to talk to you about the elements. And this question comes from Jazzy S. This is your question, Jazzy. Yeah, it's already going.
Whoops.
Venus.
Jupiter.
Saturn.
Mars. Anyways.
Uranus.
Don't you know my ass is famous?
It is.
Anyways. Oh God, I hope not. So our next topic is elements, and this question comes from Jazzy S. Messaged us on Facebook, I believe. Messaged Rowan. Or Rowan answered. And her question was how to find her element. And what she said, she's born fire, but is connected to all consciously. What you're looking for, Jazzy, is your subconscious spirit element thing. And what Rowan answered you was take a week to live, breathe, eat, sleep, and shit the element.
Thanks for throwing that shit part in there. I really appreciate that one. It's my favorite part. Live, breathe, eat, and shit.
Yes, the element. So for a week, focus only on fire. Like you, You live fire, you breathe fire, you study fire, what it means, what it feels, and not just what it means out of one book or one reference, but out of many books, you know, and many different people, many different online sites, anything you can find to reference that one element for a whole week and just live it. A good example to do this is to wear the color that's usually associated with the element, or what you believe is most associated with the element, like blue for water. Just wear blue, different tones of blue for a week. That'd be great. Or wearing a locket of earth or air, fire or water. Hopefully if you have water in it, it seals pretty well. So that'd be nice. What you're looking for is for... oh wait, I already said that. Never mind. So after you feel each element for a week, take a few weeks to just mull it over and let it sink in. You relax, stop looking at all those different books and all those different sites. Kind of let it all sink in and stop studying. Just no more books right now. You need to sleep on it, basically. And it'll come to you what element you feel most connected to, what element is yours, and which one feeds your spirit in a way. On born elements, it's not always the same element. A lot of times people go off the Chinese zodiac or something similar to that for their born element. I have no idea how accurate that is. I know I'm a Libra. I know that. That's about it. I'm not sure what element I was born in. I know it's not water, but I don't know what it is.
I think it was possibly earth.
It was earth or air, maybe.
That'd be weird if it was air.
I have no idea. But
you don't like voicing your opinion, so.
I do. I just do it in a journal because it can be mean.
I want to read this journal about me.
No. Anyways.
This fucking faggot. I'm just kidding. Go on.
Never say that. Oh, to your face. So anyways, through the years and through my experience with my own personal life and with the magic that I've been working with, I found that my own personal element is water. That's what I connect to. That's what I feel. And that's in no way associated with my birthday. So, I mean, some people are by chance, perhaps, or perhaps the Chinese zodiac, or whatever zodiac you use works for you. No idea. Another thing is that when you use books for references, you have to keep in mind that that's one person's personal feeling towards this experience, towards this spell, this stone, the herb, whatever it is. Magic is you, it's not the book. Some common things like chamomile, there's scientific research, it helps you relax. There's also with someone associated with it, and many people associated with that, so it's kind of like a common ground. But with Ronan, sorry.
Ronan?
It's the name of Phoenix's cat. You're a cat now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, he has this obsidian story. He might want to tell you himself. I don't know if I could voice it so well.
Well, so, we're basically going to have to cut this video in half. When it's finished, I'll cut it in half. So, from this point on, welcome to part 2. Oh. Okay, so basically, we're talking about how crystals and herbs and colors, they all have common correspondences, like things that explain like how they are, like say like the color yellow is associated with schoolwork and wisdom and stuff like that. Well, in all the books I read about obsidian, the stone, I never found anything to be quite more true than obsidian being the truth stone. And I only found it in one specific book, and all the other books said all these other shit about the obsidian, but I didn't feel that way. I felt like it was the truth stone, and this is why. Let's just throw it out there. This is why. So, when I was younger, used to look at porn all the time on my cell phone. And my cell phone did not have internet free. And, well, the way this all went down was my mother actually couldn't, on the plan we had, couldn't see what I was, like, using the internet for. She, at first, just thought that I was, had clicked on the internet button when I was at school, and it just went through all day long, and it just charged up $1,400 because it was on all day. Well, when I was at school, I had put the obsidian stone in my pocket. I didn't research anything about it before that. And I put it in my pocket and went to school. And I started to have, when I was in math class, a headache. And the headache grew more and more and more until it was worse than a migraine. I remember that. It was so bad that I was feeling sick to my stomach. And then just after the migraine had started, my eyes had started. What are you doing?
Entertaining.
Oh, my eyes had started to blur around the edges to where I couldn't even see what I was doing. And I said, can I go to the nurse's office? And she said yes, and I started to walk. Halfway to 3/4 of the way down the stairs, there was like 3 or 4 like flights of stairs left, or what do you call those, like steps left, and I fell down them because I couldn't see where I was going, and I was going really fast because my head hurt, right? Yeah, cry boo-hoo. And so I fall down and I get to the nurse's office. And at first, she's like, well, your headache's probably coming from the stone you're wearing on your neck. And I wasn't wearing the obsidian. I was wearing like a quartz, but had oils all over it, right? To keep, like, it was something that I was doing in high school. Anyways, so I took that off and it didn't help. And my mom came and picked me up and she's like, why did you leave? When she picked me up, she's like, why did you leave your internet on at school? You charged $1,400. She's all pissed at me. And then all of a sudden, what came out of my mouth next is something that I would never say to my mother. I said, oh God, Mom, I'm sorry, I got on porn all day long on the weekend. And I don't know why I said that, but it was because of the stone. So, yeah, there's the story about the stone. So soak that in, bitches. Soak it in. Don't ever, if this is how you feel when you get the obsidian stone, this true stone, don't ever put it in your pocket when you know you're doing something wrong.
That's great advice.
Yes, the truth will come out. Okay, so, moving on.
Moving on. So there you go, Jazzy. There's your answer for the elements, plus a little personal story.
Yes.
Just because you wanted one.
About correspondences. Okay, so, moving along to the next thing, which is also from Jazzy. And this was about covens, how she couldn't find a coven in her area. So.
I also assumed she couldn't find any local solitaires that really practiced regularly.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know how old Jazzy is, if she's in school, or she's working, or both, or...
She could be 45 living in a house with cats.
Well, who knows? Well, in that case, Jazzy, 45 living in a house with cats, you need to get a computer.
That was really rude of us to say, and we're just kidding. We're just joking. We're totally joking. We're throwing out the whole Wiccan stereotype as a 45-year-old woman living in her house alone with cats.
Well,
so,
Phoenix is
it's pretty funny. It's the funniest one I've seen, because I sure as hell am not a 45-year-old woman living. I have 2 cats, but that's about it.
So does Phoenix. He has 2 cats.
Yeah. So, moving on.
Anyways, so, number 1, witchvox.com is a great site. It's a pagan site to find not only local events, but local people, local covens, local groups.
Local shops.
Local shops, online shops. It's great. It really
Witchvox.com. Go to it. It's wonderful. If you haven't heard of it yet, go.
Yeah.
You know.
witchvox.com. It's it looks kind of sketch, but it really isn't.
It's wonderful. There's thousands of witches on there.
There are. It's grown so much, and if you used it like 5 years ago, and you're like, oh well, this is crap. It's grown a lot more since then.
Yes.
A lot of pagans and Wiccans and neo-pagans, you have it. Everyone I can think of is on that site.
Yes.
Most of the community that we're aware of uses or knows about that site. I have a personal profile. Rowan has a first profile. The coven has one.
Thank you.
Alright, so number 2, online covens. Belwickett, we have our online coven on Facebook. We have 110 plus members. Of course, everyone is free to post on there. So, take your information with a grain of salt.
Yes, because it depends on who's posting. I know there's a lot of people on there that get really excited about it. They post a lot of stuff, so you don't have to like believe everything that you see from somebody else because they believe in that, you know.
Just like books.
Yes, just like books, just like books. Everybody has their own opinions, but it is a very helpful tool for people that don't have anybody else to go to, because a lot of the Coven members on that web or on our group page are good friends. A lot of them are good friends. They're friends with us, you know, and they like to post cool things. We have some new administration on there. They're wonderful. You know, they've kept the site thing up and running while we're, you know, doing our own thing because we have such busy lives. So it's a really good place to get to know other witches and to help yourselves out, like, you know. And we answer some of the questions sometimes too.
If we can get through all of them.
Yes, there's so many questions.
So if you're watching this and you have a question we never answered it or got back to, I'm really sorry about that. It disappears. The tablets just eat it.
Yes.
You don't know what happens. You could also create your own online or look for other online groups.
There's a ton out there. There is a ton.
Millions.
We are not the only one. There is a ton.
No way are we the only ones.
We're the only ones that named Belwickett, though, so...
Not true.
Nope, it is true.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
Belwickett with 2 T's.
With 2 T's.
That's true. We are the only one in the world with 2 T's.
That's a little stretch.
Nope, it's true.
Take that with a grain of salt.
Nope. Take it with some milk.
Ew.
Anyways, going on.
Anyways. Number 3, if you are this school age, you can post in your school, like a flyer or something, because that is allowed. Although
yeah, I'm gonna throw this out there. Not to be rude or anything, but when I was in high school, I did the same thing. I wore all black. I brought every book I owned to school. I wore big ass pentagrams on my neck, you know, and I wanted everybody to know that I was a witch. This is not the time when you should be posting things like that on your school flyer, because people will come to your little things to study with you and hang out with you that are not, this is unwanted attention. You don't want that kind of stuff. So what I suggest is, as long as you're like, I'm not trying to say dumb it down, but what I'm trying to say is
keep it vague.
Keep it vague, yes. Make sure you don't mention the word witch, spells, witchcraft. Put a flyer up that says something like, you know, pagan, new age spirituality. There we go, like something like that, you know. Goddess, religion, something like that, because it keeps the stupid people out. You know, the people coming to make fun of you, or the people coming just because you said spells and they want to do it. It keeps the people that are really seriously wanting to do this, because those are the words that bring the serious people. So make sure you do that. And I feel highly terrible when I see that somebody goes out there and gets embarrassed because, you know, people make fun of them, and I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm here to try to help that. So make sure you use those kind of words when doing this, setting it up.
And an appropriate image. If you're going to use an image, use an appropriate one.
Yes. No big, humongous pentagrams. I mean, you know what? I can't tell you not to. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. You know, I'm just warning you that some things like this can happen. You know, people can be mean. So just be careful what you do.
Also, if you're not a school age, posting in the workplace is an absolute no.
Yes, don't do that.
Don't just, no. Our society isn't far enough to do that. That's inappropriate to bring your religion into your work. Some could say it's inappropriate to bring it into your school, but as if you're a community college or high school, you're looking for particular individuals who are interested in the same subject.
Yes.
You're not, forcing it upon any.
Exactly.
So if you're not in school, and you could also post in local shops, crystal shops, book shops that are, well, any kind of bookshop, really.
Smoke shops. Smoke shops is not like a cigarette store, but like a, the sort of new hookah lounge kind of things. Yes, because a lot of new age people like to do that kind of stuff because it's a new age, and they, people smoke weed. Okay, everybody knows it. Okay, and a lot of the.
We do not condone.
Yeah, we don't condone. But there's a lot of pagans that do that, and you can find a lot of people in there that are not open about it, that will see that and be like, oh, let me email this person. That's really cool,
Oh yeah, don't put your personal phone number.
Yes, always. If you're going to do email address kind of things, do a P.O. box. Go get a P.O. box, do that, and just do an email. Email address, always the best.
And not your personal one. Also, with that, just saying, we're not saying that everyone who goes to a hookah lounge or smoke shop smokes weed. You could be looking for a natural way to smoke tobacco or
even just buying incense,
whatever.
Or tie-dye shirts. There's a smoke shop that has tie-dye shirts, incense, and like a Bob Marley like bead set thing.
It's awesome.
So yeah.
So we're not.
I don't smoke weed and I go into smoke shops. Okay, it's fun.
Anyways, okay, yeah. So
Glass blowing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, and then our fourth one, our fourth suggestion. So if all three of these options fail or are not open to you in any way, being solitaire is not
Solitary.
solitary.
Solitaire is a game.
Being solitary sounds weird. Solitaire is right.
A solitary practitioner.
A solitary practitioner. That is not a bad thing. It's it doesn't mean that you are alone. It means that you're focusing on yourself and your magic and your growth. You could, when you're practicing solitarily, you can find books in shops, in libraries, online stores. I know a lot of small towns, they don't have that option that's local, but even in our tiny, itsy-bitsy little town, West Richland, with its library that's only one room, breaks my heart.
Breaks my heart.
Oh, it's terrible. They still have New Age and Wiccan books. They're hard to find, but you can request them from another library or online. Etsy online is great. I don't know if they sell books or not, but...
The fire is beautiful over there. Sorry.
Stop it.
Okay. Yes, and like she was saying about how solitary practicing is not, it's not a bad thing. I was solitary for a year and a half after, I had some friends that did it, and then they left, and I didn't have anybody else. That was my biggest growth period. That was the most. That's the most I've ever learned in that time period, in that span. I mean, I've learned a lot more since then. But I mean, in that time span, I learned so much because I was focusing on myself. I had nobody else to try to keep up with, or try for them to keep up with me. I was just focusing with my own self. So it worked out very well. So solitary is not bad. It's actually quite good. Everybody needs a little period of solitary in their life, So
solitaire because it's an excellent game.
Yeah, everybody needs some solitaire too. Okay, is that it? Is that it on thing? Because I gotta stop it in like 3 minutes. Because it's at 30 minutes and we gotta cut it off.
That's it.
Okay, so this has been a video with Belwickett. We're back for a little while. I'll do some videos. Crystal will do some videos. You can find us on Facebook, liking our page, The House of Belwickett. You can find facebook.com/Belwickett with 2 T's, BELWICKETT. You can email us at thehouseofbelwickett@yahoo.com. The House, HAUS of Belwickett, and I already showed you how to spell Belwickett. You can also find us on Tumblr at
The House of Belwickett.
Yeah, The House of Belwickett.
Tumblr.
We don't have a Twitter anymore, but you can find us in those 3 places. We also have the group page. I don't know what it's called, like with the little bar up at the top, but if you look under the groups on Facebook, just type in Belwickett Coven. You'll find us right away. It's the very top one.
It's got a picture of us.
Yes. So check us out. Have some fun. Watch other videos that we've done. Comment on things you'd like to see. Questions that you have. I love answering questions. Especially when I drink coffee, I really get into it, girl.
Also, on the questions, there are so many people who use Facebook, and like we said, 110 plus members on the Coven group or page or whatever. So Tumblr is my domain. I'm on it all the time. It's kind of sad. But
Tumblr geek.
I don't get any ask in the ask box, and I need some. I feel so lonely.
Yes, everybody go on the Tumblr and ask.
Everyone. Oh my gosh.
Yes, everyone. Everyone do it. Go on the Tumblr and ask some questions. If you have any questions, ask away. Because she's always on it and she loves to answer your questions. So that has been a video with Belwickett, and we will see you guys later. Blessed be.
Blessed be.